The rich girl mocked the waiter until he showed her a photo from the past. "Waiter. Hello, are you deaf or just slow?" The voice cut through the soft jazz and clinking glasses like a slap. Heads turned. Conversation stopped. Alana Pierce sat at the center table, diamond bracelet shining, phone in hand, and impatience written all over her face. The waiter hurried over, breathing lightly, tray balanced perfectly. "I'm so sorry, ma'am. Is something wrong?" "This soup," she said, pushing the bowl away with a disgusted sigh. "It's cold. And it's supposed to be lobster bisque, not this, whatever it is." The young waiter blinked, nodding quickly. "I understand. I'll get you a fresh one right away." She smirked at her friends, rolling her eyes. "Unbelievable. 5-star restaurant, 2-star service." They laughed, but it wasn't funny. Not really. A few tables away, people exchanged looks. The waiter didn't say a word. He just turned and walked toward the kitchen. His name tag read Derek. Inside, he took a deep breath and steadied himself. He'd heard worse. He'd lived through worse. But something about her face, her voice, stirred something deep in his memory. When Derek returned with a new bowl, Alana was scrolling her phone, laughing at something on social media. She didn't even look up. "Here you go, ma'am," he said softly. "Finally," she muttered, eyes still glued to her screen. He set the bowl down carefully, but before stepping away he hesitated, just for a second. Then he looked right at her. That made her glance up. "What?" she snapped. "You look familiar," he said quietly. "I didn't think I'd ever see you again." She frowned, confused. "Excuse me." Derek reached into his apron pocket and pulled out something folded and worn. A small, creased photograph. "I kept this for years," he said, his voice calm but heavy. "Thought maybe one day I'd give it back." Alana raised an eyebrow, half amused, half annoyed. "What are you talking about?" He placed the photo on the table. Her laughter died instantly. In that photo, a little barefoot girl and a skinny boy stood outside a broken-down laundromat, smiling like life was still kind. Her mouth fell open. She touched the picture as if it might burn her fingers. "That can't be." "It is," Derek said softly. "You and me. Maple Street, summer of 2010. Her friends looked at each other, whispering. Alana's face went pale. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He just looked at her and said, "I guess money changes a lot of things. But I didn't think it would change you." And in that one quiet sentence, the room went still. The laughter, the music, the noise, everything disappeared. Only the truth remained. Alana sat frozen, the photo still trembling between her fingers. The sounds of clinking glasses and quiet jazz faded into nothing. It was like the world had stopped moving. Just her, the photo, and the man she once knew but had forgotten. Her throat tightened. This can't be real," she whispered. "That was, years ago," Derek finished gently. "Yeah, a long time ago. But I never forgot." Her eyes flicked up to his face. He wasn't angry. That made it worse. His voice was calm, steady, the kind that carried truth heavier than shouting ever could. "I used to live right next to that laundromat," he said. "Your dad owned it. My mom worked there, folding clothes, cleaning up spills, making sure your uniforms were ready every Monday." Memories flickered across her mind like old film reels. A tiny store, the smell of detergent, a skinny boy who'd always smile at her, even when he was sweeping floors. She swallowed hard. "You're that Derek?" He nodded once. "That's me." Her friends shifted uncomfortably, sensing the change. One whispered, "Alana, what's going on?" She ignored them. "But you moved away. Your family disappeared." Derek smiled faintly. "We didn't disappear. We got evicted after your dad sold the building." Alana's stomach dropped. "I didn't know." "No," he said softly. "You didn't ask." His words hit harder than anger ever could. He looked down at the photo in her hand. "Remember what you told me that day? You said, 'When I grow up, I'll come back and help you. I'll make things fair.'" He paused, eyes meeting hers. "You promised you wouldn't forget." Her lips parted, but no sound came out. She remembered now. A little girl's innocent promise, made with good intentions and zero understanding of what life could do to people. She had forgotten. Derek took a step back, wiping his hands on his apron. I didn't show you that photo to embarrass you. I just wanted you to remember who you were before money started talking for you. Alana's eyes filled with tears she didn't expect. Derek, It's okay, he said quietly, shaking his head. You don't owe me anything. Some people just forget faster than others. He turned to leave, but her voice cracked. Wait! Everyone in the restaurant was watching now, pretending not to. She didn't care. I didn't mean to treat you like that, she said, voice trembling. I didn't know. Derek stopped. You still don't. And then he walked away, calm, graceful, dignified, while she sat there surrounded by luxury and silence, holding a photo that suddenly felt heavier than gold. Alana sat there long after Derek walked away. The laughter from her table had vanished. Her friends mumbled excuses and quietly left. She stayed, staring at the door, clutching that photo like it was proof she still had a heart. A memory flickered. Summer heat, broken pavement, the hum of washing machines. A skinny boy handing her a cold soda he'd bought with the last coin in his pocket. One day I'm going to own a place like this, he'd said. And she had smiled, promising, when I make it big, I'll take you with me. She had meant it, but life and money had a way of erasing promises that didn't fit inside penthouses. The next morning, guilt still sat heavy in her chest. She looked him up online. Nothing. No social media, no trace. Finally, she called the restaurant and asked for him. This is Alana Pierce, she said softly. Can you tell Derek I'd like to speak with him? The manager hesitated. Ma'am, he's not here today. Took the morning off to visit his mom. She's in the city hospital. Her stomach twisted. Hospital? Without thinking, she grabbed her keys and drove there. The nurse pointed her toward a small room near the end of the hall. Through the window, she saw him, sitting beside a frail woman connected to tubes, holding her hand, smiling like he used to. For a moment, she couldn't move. The image hit her harder than any insult she'd thrown. He looked tired, worn, but peaceful, like the world hadn't broken him yet. When he noticed her reflection in the glass, he stood. You followed me? She stepped inside slowly. I needed to say sorry. Not just for yesterday. For everything. His jaw tightened. You don't owe me that. I do, she said. You remembered a promise I forgot. And you turned out better than me. He looked at her for a long moment, then shook his head. No, just different paths, Alana. Money didn't change you. Forgetting did. Tears filled her eyes. Can I help? With your mom? He gave a sad smile. You already did. You came back. Outside the hospital window, the same sun that once burned over Maple Street poured light across their faces. For the first time in years, they weren't a rich girl and a poor boy, just two souls remembering who they were before life got loud. A week passed, but Alana couldn't shake the image of Derek sitting by his mother's bedside. The gentle way he smiled, the quiet strength in his eyes. It haunted her in a way no luxury ever had. Every night she'd sit on her silk sheets, staring at that faded photo. The edges were worn, but the memory inside it was alive. Two kids who believed kindness could fix everything. Finally, she decided. She picked up her phone and called the restaurant. Hi, this is Alana Pierce. I'd like to cover all medical expenses for Derek Turner's mother. Anonymously, please. The manager was stunned. Miss Pierce, that's very generous. It's not generosity, she said quietly. It's a promise I forgot to keep. 2 days later, Derek returned to work. He looked tired but lighter. When Alana walked in that evening, he froze. You again? He asked softly. She smiled awkwardly. I didn't come here for food. He crossed his arms. Then what for? To make things right. She pulled out an envelope and slid it toward him. For your mother's care. I already paid the hospital, but this is to help you start something new. Something that's yours. He stared at it, disbelief written across his face. I can't take this. You can, she said gently. And you should. You once told me you'd own a place like that laundromat one day. Maybe it's time. He looked at her, really looked, and saw she wasn't the proud, cold woman from before. Her voice shook, her eyes glistened, and for the first time she wasn't talking at him. She was talking to him. "You didn't have to do this," he whispered. "I did," she said. "Because I did wrong by someone who never deserved it." He sighed, taking a step closer. "You can't rewrite the past, Alana," she smiled faintly. "No. But maybe we can start a new chapter." For a long moment they just stood there, two people bound by a memory that time couldn't erase. Finally, Derek nodded slowly. "All right, but not as charity," she tilted her head. "Then how?" "As a partnership," he said, a small smile breaking through. "If I ever open that place, you can come fold towels and complain about the air conditioning. Just like old times." She laughed. Real laughter this time. "Deal." As she turned to leave, he called out, "Hey, Alana!" "Thank you." She looked back, smiling through tears. "No, Derek. Thank you for remembering who I was, so I could remember too." Outside, the city lights glowed like 1,000 quiet second chances. And for the first time, Alana didn't feel rich or powerful. She just felt human. A year passed. Seasons changed, but one thing didn't. The memory of that night in the restaurant when pride finally met humility. The old laundromat on Maple Street had been silent for years, its windows dusty and its sign half broken. But now it stood reborn, with fresh paint, new machines, and a small wooden sign above the door that read, "Second Chance Laundry," owned by Derek Turner. On opening day, the neighborhood buzzed. Kids ran past, people hugged, and Derek's mother sat proudly near the counter, her health finally returning. A familiar black car pulled up across the street. Alana stepped out wearing jeans and a plain shirt. No designer labels, no diamonds, just a quiet smile. When Derek saw her, he grinned. "Didn't think you'd actually show." She shrugged playfully. "I told you I'd help fold towels, didn't I?" He chuckled. "Still the same sass, huh?" "Maybe," she said, walking in. "But this time I know when to use it." They both laughed, the sound filling the little store like sunshine. As the day went on, customers came and went. Old neighbors who remembered the past. New faces discovering a place built on redemption. Derek worked the counter, helping people, making jokes, smiling more than he had in years. At one point, a young boy dropped his laundry basket, spilling everything onto the floor. Alana immediately bent down to help him. "It's okay, sweetie," she said with a warm smile. Derek watched quietly. For a moment he saw that barefoot girl from the photo again. Kind, simple, full of heart. The girl who hadn't been lost forever, just buried under luxury and noise. When the rush slowed, Alana turned to Derek. "You did it," she said softly. "We did it," he corrected. "You kept your promise, even if it came late." She looked around. The laughter, the chatter, the scent of detergent and hope. "This place feels different," she said. He nodded. "Because it's built on forgiveness, not pride." Outside, the evening sun dipped low, turning the city gold. Mama Turner waved from her seat by the window. "You two look good together," she teased. They both laughed, a little shy but full of peace. Derek leaned on the counter. "You know, Alana, I used to think success was about money. But it's not." She raised an eyebrow. "Oh, really? Then what is it?" He smiled. "It's when life gives you a chance to be better. And you take it." Alana looked down, her voice quiet. "Then I guess we both made it," he nodded. "Yeah, we did." Outside, the neon sign flickered to life, Second Chance Laundry glowing against the night sky. And for the first time in a long time, both of them felt clean. Not just on the outside, but deep in the heart. Because sometimes, life doesn't erase the past. It just gives you a chance to rewrite it. Months rolled by, and Second Chance Laundry became the heartbeat of the neighborhood. People didn't just come to wash clothes. They came to talk, to laugh, to feel seen. Derek hired local kids who needed work, the same way he once needed a chance himself. One warm afternoon, he was fixing a dryer when a customer walked in wearing a navy suit and holding a clipboard. "Mr. Turner?" the man asked. "I'm from the Community Business Council." You've been nominated for the Small Business Uplift Award." Derek froze. "You sure you got the right person?" The man smiled. "Very sure. Your projects changed lives." When the man left, Derek looked over at his mother, folding towels by the counter. "Can you believe this, Mama?" She smiled. "God don't forget good hearts, baby. He just takes his time showing it." Later that evening, as the last customers left, Derek heard the familiar sound of heels outside. Alana stepped in, holding a bouquet of white lilies. "Congratulations," she said softly. "I saw the article online. You deserve it," he smiled. "You didn't have to come." "I wanted to," she replied. "You taught me something I didn't even know I'd lost." He tilted his head. "What's that?" "Grace," she said. "The kind that doesn't come from money." They stood there in silence for a while. Then Derek nodded toward the washing machines humming gently in the background. "Funny, isn't it? We used to talk about cleaning up the world. Turns out we just needed to start with ourselves." Alana laughed softly, her eyes misting over. "Maybe that's what second chances are for." The sun dipped low, casting gold light through the glass windows. It reflected off the photo frame hanging behind the counter, the same old picture of two barefoot kids in front of a laundromat. Underneath it, a small plaque read, "Never forget where you came from. That's where your story began." Alana smiled at it, then at Derek. "You kept the photo?" He nodded. "It reminds me that kindness ages well, even when people don't." She looked around, her voice warm. "This place, it feels like home." He met her gaze and smiled. "That's what I wanted it to be." As she walked out, the sign above the door flickered on, glowing bright against the evening sky. Second Chance Laundry. Cleaning clothes, and sometimes hearts, and for the first time in years, both of them knew. The past hadn't come back to haunt them. It had come back to heal them. The community hall was packed that evening, rows of folding chairs, a small stage, and faces glowing with pride. It wasn't a grand event, but the air carried something richer than money: respect. Derek sat in the front row beside his mother, both dressed neatly. He'd never owned a tuxedo, but his pressed shirt and polished shoes made him look like someone who finally belonged where he stood. The host called his name. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Derek Turner, founder of Second Chance Laundry, this year's Small Business Uplift Award winner." Applause filled the hall. People stood, cheering. Derek froze for a second, heart pounding. His mother patted his hand. "Go on, baby. You earned this." He walked to the stage, nervous but smiling. The lights were bright, but he could still see her in the back. Alana, standing quietly, clapping with tears in her eyes. When the crowd calmed, Derek took the mic. His voice shook at first, but then it found its strength. "I never thought I'd be standing here," he began. "A few years ago, I was working table to table, trying to keep my head down. I thought money made people important. Turns out it's not money, it's mercy. It's remembering who you were before the world told you to forget." People nodded. Someone shouted, "Say it again!" He smiled. "I called my laundromat Second Chance because I realized we all need one. Sometimes it's not about starting over. It's about starting better." The crowd erupted in cheers. Even the host had tears in her eyes. Derek held up the award, a simple glass plaque, and said, "This isn't mine alone. It's my mother's, for teaching me that dignity is worth more than gold. And it's for every person who's ever been overlooked, underestimated, or unseen. You matter." When the applause faded, he stepped off the stage. His mother hugged him tight, whispering, "You made me proud, my boy." Alana walked over, holding her purse against her chest. "That speech, it was beautiful." He smiled. "You came." "Of course," she said softly. "I wanted to see you shine." They stood side by side as the hall emptied. Derek looked down at the award in his hand. "You know, this feels lighter than I thought it would." She smiled gently. "Because it's not about what you're holding, Derek. It's about what you're carrying inside." Outside, the night air was cool and still. The stars above the city shimmered. Small, distant, but bright. And in that moment, they both understood something deeper than success or forgiveness. That sometimes the greatest honor isn't what you win, it's who you become. The morning after the awards ceremony, sunlight poured through the laundromat's wide front windows. The sign outside, Second Chance Laundry, glowed softly in the dawn light. Inside, the air smelled of soap, fresh coffee, and new beginnings. Derek unlocked the doors early, still half in disbelief. The plaque sat on the counter beside the register, glinting with pride that didn't feel like ego. It felt like healing. His mother hummed softly as she folded towels in the corner. "You didn't sleep, did you?" she asked, smiling knowingly. He grinned. "Not much. I kept thinking about everything that had to happen to get here." She nodded. "The struggle was the seed, baby. Look what it grew." Just then, the bell above the door chimed. Alana stepped in holding 2 cups of coffee. "Thought you could use this," she said softly. He smiled. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," she replied. "Yesterday, seeing you on that stage, it reminded me why I ever wanted to be somebody. Not for the fame, not for the money, just to make someone proud." Derek took a slow sip, studying her. She was different now. No makeup mask, no arrogance, no noise. "Just Alana, real, funny," he said with a warm smile. "You did make someone proud," she frowned playfully. "Who?" He nodded toward his mother. "Her. She's been praying for you too, you know." Mama Turner chuckled. "I pray for everybody, even the ones that don't think they need it." They all laughed. Soft. Genuine laughter that filled the little space with something sacred. Alana looked around the shop. Families coming in with baskets. Kids helping parents, neighbors greeting each other by name. "You turned this place into more than a business," she said. "It's a home." He looked at her, eyes full of quiet truth. "That's what we both needed, wasn't it? A place to start again," she nodded slowly. "A second chance." Outside, a breeze lifted the old sign above the door, making it sway gently. "Second Chance Laundry, cleaning clothes and sometimes hearts." Derek smiled. "You know what's crazy? This all started with a photo." She laughed softly. "A photo and a promise." He nodded. "One we finally kept." They stood there for a while, not saying much, just watching the morning light spill across the machines, watching people come and go, each carrying a story, each washing away a little bit of yesterday, and as the city woke up around them, one truth hung in the air like sunlight through glass. Sometimes the richest people aren't the ones with the most. They're the ones who remember the least isn't beneath them. Because true wealth is a heart that still knows how to forgive.